like an invoicing or something that used thicker paper. I could have adjusted the settings on both sides of the carriage so that it would take just a single copy. Right now, because of the way the type bar alignment is set up for a thicker copy, if you just use 3 or 4 copies of paper behind it, then you'll get a nice dark print. Otherwise, you'll start to get some voids, because the way the type bar is set up on the thing here, it's called a ring and cylinder. As the type bar comes up, it strikes this little ring, and then the velocity of the type bar goes through the throat of the type guide and presses onto the platen. Because of the proximity of the platen to the face, actually it's whipping the type bar into the paper. So if you are normally used to running a thicker copy, there would have been an impression control here, but they did away with that when the Flexowriter first came out, and you more or less had to adjust the thickness of the paper to take into effect carbon copies. In those days we didn't have copy machines other than Xerox coming out eventually. But if you wanted,
this was the copy machine, wasn't it?
Well, I guess it was, yeah, because if you had repetitive letters, you'd have a chain letter on tape, and it would stop with using a stop code, and then the operator would manually type in the addressee and then hit the start read button, and it would continue on doing the chain letter, per se.
If you used the same letter on a taped loop,
right,
then you just changed the paper, and
right.
You could do it over and over and over without changing anything.
And the nice thing, when they had the auxiliary reader, which was attached to this plug over here, it also had a data selector. I think it was 10 dials, and it used a stepper switch. If you've ever seen one of those, we used to use those in the Air Force on our test equipment on the guided missile. It was basically made by Automatic Electric Company, and I think it was in Ohio too. And it was a bunch of wiper switches that went around and touched particular contacts in order to execute a selection of or combination of binary bits and pieces. And in this case, maybe you'd have a date that you wanted to print out on every copy of a letter that you put in. So you dial in the date into your little manual dials, and then the data selector code would be read here, which would go over and activate the data selector, and it would read out the step switch, which had all the dials programmed for the date. So this way the operator did not have to type in the date on every copy. Or it might have been an invoice number or something that she just wanted to increment. And being that this is all electromechanical, underneath the relay bank cover here is up to probably 20 relays. Now, today most people don't even know what a relay is. It basically is an electromechanical device which, when activated, closes, opens, transfers electrical connections to change the pathways in order to execute a certain function. I think one of the primary relays underneath here is called the anti-repeat relay, and it basically was put in there to prevent a code which was sent from the selector mechanism mounted on the bottom of the machine to the punch unit, and in order to keep the punch from doubling up on that code, the anti-repeat relay, its function was to just block it from doubling up. A variety of malfunctions, such as maybe the rubber bond on the punch clutch would crack from old age, or just the rubber would dry out, and this would cause a double clutching operation sometimes. That seemed to be a common problem. I've tried to save over the years a lot of these high mortality parts so that I could continue to repair these for aficionados like yourself. Anyway, I'll try and put this